Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to Iron Anchor Cycles. So for this week's video, once again, we've got something a little bit different. What we've got up here on the lift, I know, it's a wide glide, crazy. Not a Dyna model that we see very often because wide glides these days get a pretty bad rap. Although, interesting fact, once upon a time, the wide glide was the most expensive Dyna model you could get. I know some people are gonna disagree with me on that, but I've got an old price book here that shows that at least in certain years, wide glide was actually even more expensive than a T-Sport, which is crazy to think about that today. But anyway, on to what we're doing here. So we've got a wide glide, and you might notice that we've got one tin on here, tank and front fender are missing, but you can see this bike's got a new paint job on it, and it does look pretty good. So kind of the story of this bike is this is a customer-owned bike, and he had this, didn't look quite this good initially, and wanted to build just kind of something cool, maybe not a performance bike out of it, but you know, just kind of a show bike, a little bit doing what you might do with a Softail, kind of, you know, low, slow, and loud, we'll call it, the typical Harley thing. So he got the bike painted and then brought it to us to kind of get everything else on it cleaned up to turn this into something really, really clean. So that's what we're gonna do. So we've obviously started doing a little bit of work on it. Clearly it didn't come like this. So basically all we've done at this point is a bunch of disassembly. So this bike has a matching, with this cool paint job on it, a matching tank, fairing, a little chin spoiler, and a front fender. We took all that off so we could get access to what we want to do here. And the first thing that we did was get this bike washed and detailed. The chrome on it and the black on the engine cases really did not look good, and we were worried we were going to have to get maybe some stuff re-chromed or replace some parts, but honestly, with a little bit of elbow grease, the chrome, as you can see, really came right back, and the black on the engine cases did as well. So that part was looking really good, so saved a lot of time there, but we've got a lot of work to do, and that's what this video is gonna be about. So I'm gonna pick up the camera, we'll do a walk around of the bike, I'll kind of show you where we're at and what we're gonna do, and we'll dig into it. So this is gonna be similar to the project we did a couple of videos ago on the Black DX, where we're gonna get this whole bike done for you guys in this one video. So we're gonna show you taking, you know, the bike kind of from this half put together state. We're gonna get everything done on it, and we're gonna roll a finished bike off the lift at the end of this video. So that's the plan. If you're into it and wanna see the finished product, stick around. All right, so we're gonna start here at the back of the bike just because I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to see this incredible paint job that's on this bike. It is really, really stunning. It sort of gives us the need to build the rest of the bike around it to make it look just as good. This was done by a female painter, actually. I don't have her name right now, but I will go look at my notes and look it up, and I'll tell you guys later in the video because she definitely deserves a shout out for this work. But take a look at the rest of the bike. So obviously we've got some big, really cool chrome wheels on here. These to me kind of, they got like an Arlen Ness sort of like 90s billet look to them. They seem kind of period correct to me for this bike. This is an 04, but I think this is working on this bike. That looks like an 18-inch rear. There's a 21-inch matching front to go on. The other thing you'll notice here is obviously the very, very short shocks. These I think are 10.5s. So you got that kind of stuffed rear tire. Not sure how well this bike is gonna run, or ride, I should say. If you look, that swing arm is actually tilted up. So we didn't do that part of it. That was the customer's work. So we're gonna work around that for the moment and kind of see how that goes. Moving over to, you know, kind of the engine, the middle section here, we've got the transmission clutch release cover pulled off because the clutch cable needed to be replaced. So we just went ahead and took that off. But looking at the rest of the cases, you can see the chrome actually looks really good on here. You know, it's not fully done and polished yet. We just did the initial cleaning on it, but for just that, it looks awesome. So moving up here, it's got a very tall but nice set of boosted brad risers on here, along with a set of chrome bars and some, you know, updated controls and stuff. We'll get to that a little bit later. We've got the tank off so that we had access to the rocker boxes to work on that. And then obviously there's a seat to go on here as well. Forward controls, not my thing personally, but I think it matches what's going on with this bike pretty well, so that's okay. We've got the fork legs taken off the bike because the fork lowers needed to get sent out to get polished because those were pretty trashed. So moving around here, whole mess of wiring here. So this is a result of these bars being wired in, and I got this big stupid, like, looks like heat shrink that wasn't shrunk on here. This has got to go. We got to shorten these and get this harness put back together properly. So that's going to be job number one for today, I think. And then working our way around. Got a couple things we got to do here. This shifter linkage, we're definitely going to replace. I don't like the look of it, and also these old ones that have these boots on here. These tend to fail, and then you get stuck. So you definitely want a shifter linkage that's got Heim joints instead of these boots on here. We've got a new kickstand for it because the one that's on here is too long now because of the drop in the rear. So we got that to go on. And I'm trying to think a couple other little things. I mean, obviously we've got a pipe to go on here. So not a ton for us to do. Oh, sorry, I did forget to mention one thing while we were over here at the motor. We're gonna replace all the hardware on the primary transmission and motor. All this hardware, we're gonna replace that with ARP stainless to really dress this bike up. The idea is to have this thing really looking as close to a show bike as we can get it. So we've got a couple little projects to do here, and we're just gonna get started, and we'll kind of show you the progress we make, and we'll hopefully have something really cool and something different, because it's a wide glide, to show you guys when we get it completed. So that's the plan, and we're gonna get cracking. All right, so we're gonna start to get into it on this bike, and I think where I wanna get started is we've got all the hardware we need to replace all this stuff like I mentioned, and we also have our replacement clutch cable which came in. So we're gonna start by getting the new clutch cable put onto the clutch release cover, get that reinstalled with the new ARP hardware, and then once we've got that in place, we'll get all the rest of this hardware done. We've got two ARP bolt packages, and kind of show you what that looks like. So Fueling sells these, and they do it by model and kind of by what you're doing. So they do external engine fasteners, external primary transmission fasteners, as well as a bunch of internal stuff as well. So we carry the full line of this stuff on our website. If you're looking to do like a really nice hardware upgrade for your bike, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can take a look at those. But that is not what this is about today. What it's about today is getting this bike put together. So we're gonna jump into that and start knocking this stuff out, and hopefully we'll start to see a little transformation. One other thing I'll point out is we did get this all polished up, but obviously we weren't able to polish in here where all the bolts are. We're gonna do that as we replace these bolts. So we're gonna pull them out one at a time, polish in the area where the bolt is, and then put the new one in, and hopefully we'll see a really cool transformation. So we're gonna get started with that, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so quick little update. Got the new clutch cable on, matches the other ones, and got the transmission side cover back on with the new hardware. Just to give you an idea of what this is gonna look like. So we did do the hardware around here already, because in the case of one of these, this one right here, you do actually have to have the clutch cable out of the way to get this bolt in and out. There's some exhaust that's the case for that. I think it's a thunder header. The bracket comes all the way around here, and you actually have to drop your transmission fluid and pull this cover off in order to put the thunder header bracket on, because it uses that bolt. One of the many silly designs of a thunder header, but anyway, I digress. Figured we'd stop here, kind of show you what the progress is gonna be. We got these little holes here polished as well. We're gonna go run around and kind of keep doing this, and we'll just check back in when we've got some more shiny hardware to show you guys, and then after that, who knows, move on to the next thing, I guess. All right, well, hopefully you guys can see we've got the ARP hardware in here, and it is looking real good. So I think that really cleans up and dresses up the look of a bike. We found some bolts we had to put in here. We didn't have the right lengths for here, so we'll grab some of those to make it uniform. But ARP hardware really does a big number on a bike. Take a look over here on the engine side, or the cam side, I should say. You can see those rocker box bolts a little bit better. Lifter covers, cam cover, transmission top cover, all that good stuff. So the plan from here was to go ahead and get the pipes put on, but unfortunately we discovered, hopefully you'll be able to see in here, a broken exhaust stud. So this one up here is fine. This one down here was actually missing. We didn't even break it trying to take the pipe off. It just wasn't there. So you can see it's shiny. We went ahead and just cleaned it up as best as possible. Since you can't get a drill in here, really the only choice before taking off the head to drill it out is to see if we can get a nut welded on here to see if we can get it out. So that's what we're gonna try and do right now, and we'll show you that process and see how it goes. So let's see if we can get that broken stud out and keep making progress on this bike. All right, got our nut welded on there, let it cool off a little bit. Gonna put a wrench on here and see if it'll come off. Nope. I don't know what's, oh, it's turning around the weld. Okay. Attempt 1, no good. Nope. All right, well, we gave it the old college try, and unfortunately, we tried, you can see here, little nut we used, tried a washer as well. Sometimes that works better than the nut. So at first we had the washer and the nut on top of it, and then I tried just the washer. And it just keeps breaking off, and we're kind of down to barely anything sticking out on that anymore. So unfortunately, the old welded nut on trick I don't think is gonna work on this one. So those are the breaks. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the head's gonna have to come off. So if it was this upper stud, that would be something we could probably deal with on the bike because the frame rail is not in the way. So you could put the jig in there, be able to drill it out and put like a heel coil, time cert, whatever in there. Or even just extract the bolt possibly with a left-handed drill. But this one being blocked by this, there's just no way of getting a drill into there to do anything, put an extractor in it or drill for a heel coil. So the best thing to do is just take the head off. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but the tank is already off. It's the front head, which is easier access than the rear. So it's just a matter of getting the air cleaner, throttle body, intake manifold, getting the rocker box disassembled, all that good stuff, and we'll get the head pulled off. Is what it is. It's too bad, but hey, it's gotta be fixed. So that's our next task. So here we go. All right, well, it's a couple days later and we went ahead and took care of the broken exhaust stud off camera. We got the head removed and got this stud drilled out and a new one put in and got everything put back together. So now we are back where we started before we discovered our broken exhaust stud and ready to get the exhaust put on this bike. So that's what we're gonna start tackling right now. All right, so we got the pipes put on. Definitely different than the typical 2-into-1s you see on the bikes here, but for a unique bike like this, might be kind of cool. Guess we'll have to see once we get the bike started. But for now, what we're gonna do is walk around to the other side of the bike. I'll show you kind of what our next issue is, and that is gonna be this. So I wanna deal with all this extra wiring here, and also, I don't know, looks like we have some splices there. Something might not be done right, but what we're gonna do is get the rear wheel removed so we can come in here and pull this service loop down through the cutout in the fender and be able to pull our wiring harness out through here, get access to all the plugs. At that point, we'll shorten up these harnesses, get them to be the right length, and we'll clean everything up. At the same time, we've got some chrome stuff to go on up here. I think we've got new levers as well as chrome switch pods here. I think we've got something for the master cylinder as well too. But that is the next thing we're gonna start to tackle. So stick around and we'll make it happen. All right, well, making progress here. Obviously, you saw this stuff coming apart and going back together. Got everything all nice and cleaned up here. New levers on, new chrome switch housings up here, and most importantly, perhaps, the wiring all cleaned up here. So we had that big, kind of ugly loop and mess here before. Got everything really nice and tightened up here and really, really clean. Obviously, this harness here is gonna go up to the tank, so this is kind of what we're looking at in this area, which, hopefully you can see that. I think it looks really good. So we got a couple other little things buttoned up here. We got the new thrash and shift linkage in place. Got a shorter kickstand. Not sure if you can see that on camera. Bike didn't really lean over enough with the drop in the rear end. So I think we got all that taken care of. So we are almost done with this bike. So I'm gonna move to the back and I'll show you one more little thing we've got to do before we go ahead and get our covers and tins put back on. All right, so back here, obviously the fender was put on without the fender struts. So we've got these chrome struts polished up. They're gonna go in here, well, something like that. So we've gotta get these unbolted. Might need longer bolts, definitely need nicer hardware. I think maybe like chrome or stainless acorn nuts might be the ticket for here. So before we get the rear wheel put back on, we'll get these guys put in place, get some new hardware on there. Then we can put the rear wheel back on and move on to getting the rest of the bike buttoned up. All right, well, you can see here we got the fender struts on we went with some just acorn nuts on here, which I'm not sure if I love them, but they definitely look a lot better than those kind of random gold regular nuts that were there. They kind of match the nut that's here on the shock, so that's all right. So we got those on, got our rear wheel put back on. I'll show you the other side here, kind of the same deal. So looking pretty good, and we are almost ready to do the final assembly, which I think we're gonna start right now. So gotta get our tank back on, fairing, got a chin spoiler and front fender, and this bike will be ready to roll onto the ground and give it a test fire. All right, well, here's the finished product in all its Wide Glide glory. So honestly, I gotta say, while I never thought I would have really much positive to say about a Wide Glide, they're just not for me. I really do think that for what this bike is, I actually think it's really cool. I don't love the slammed rear tire in the back. I think if this bike were just raised up just a little bit, I think it would still maintain the look and the vibe of kind of what the customer's going for with it, but I think it would just look a little bit better and certainly ride better. I haven't ridden this bike yet. I'm gonna do that, but I can't imagine this is gonna be great back here, but we'll see how it goes. But in any event, I just wanted to show you guys the finished product. So with that said, let me pick the camera up and we'll just take a walk around, and I'll give you the final view of everything we did here. All right, so here we go. The paint job on this is just so incredibly cool. It really is. So obviously done the fairing tank, front fender, got a little chin spoiler down in here too. But all the chrome, all the polished parts, everything just came out really clean. 21-inch front wheel, wrapped fender. It's gonna be some loud pipes, that's for sure. Just take a walk back around here. See those bars. A lot of chrome on this one, that's for sure. So that is kind of the full picture of this bike. All right, well, as promised at the beginning of the video, the time has come to roll this bike off the lift, fire it up, and we'll get to hear what it sounds like. So let's do it. All right, well, that's gonna do it on this 2004 Wide Glide build. So I can't say as I'm gonna be converted to being a Wide Glide guy, but this is definitely the nicest one that's ever been in our shop. Hope you guys enjoyed watching us kind of put it together. At the end of the day, this actually did take us a pretty long time to get the work done we had to do, but as you can see from the video that you just saw, it really wasn't a whole ton of actual steps we had to take. It was really just a matter of taking our time and doing everything as perfectly and as carefully as possible to come out with a really nice final product. So, while this wasn't maybe the most involved build we've ever done, it's certainly, the result speaks for itself, I think. So this is gonna be a super cool bike. Maybe some of you guys will see it on the road. Maybe you'll see it at some shows or something like that. Who knows? But I had a good time with it and hope you guys enjoyed the video. So I guess that's gonna do it, and we'll see you on the next one.